Hi everyone! So these are your slides that include your conclusion, your works cited, homework, and a couple other extra resources. So just follow through with this video. You can pause, fast forward, rewind as you need, and I'll also just post the slides for your reference. But I wanted to give you some audio with me explaining these details. And at the end of this presentation, there is a Turnitin upload screencast as well as an MLA formatting upload of a screencast. So up first is your homework that is due this Friday, the 27th at noon. So 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So you are going to turn in your full rough draft in proper MLA formatting to turnitin.com. Again, there is a screencast that will be uploaded for you to give you some details on exactly how to do that. But you have done all the way through your second body paragraph up to this point. So now you just need to complete your third CDW, DW body paragraph, and your conclusion, plus your works cited and formatting if that has not been done already. So adding your third body paragraph with 2 pieces of data, your conclusion, and your works cited. So I posted an MLA formatting guide for you on Schoology. Here is kind of what it looks like. There's also a works cited page there. It gives an example introduction as well as tips for all of your formatting. So this is something that will be a really nice checklist for you. It talks about the intro, the conclusion, things to avoid, things to think about, and it's just a nice little checklist for yourself because you aren't getting those pure edit times. So remember that pure edit checklist you used for your color coding. It is in your Gatsby folder. Keep using that. Use your resources. Don't turn in your essay blind. And these are those main points you want to pull out from your essay. Make sure you can identify in your body paragraphs your claim. Make sure your claim is very clear of the argument for the whole paragraph, not just one of your pieces of data, but your whole paragraph. Give those transitions, your lead-ins to your data. So your data should say some kind of context for your quote for that lead-in. So you don't want background information after your quote. You need to lead into your quote with any kind of background info and context. Give us that data and those warrants. That's that big part there. You want to make sure you're clearly explaining how your data supports your claim, your argument. You spent all that time finding the perfect data, so you need to explain how that data supports your argument specifically. And then you're leading into your next data, keep your ideas flowing together, your next piece of data, those awesome warrants of your next piece of data, tie everything together with that conclusion sentence, and keep moving forward. So when you are thinking about your conclusion, I have 2 slides here that kind of say similar things but in different ways, so utilize both these slides for whatever works best for you. But remember, your conclusion is tying together all of your ideas. So you have 3 separate body paragraphs all addressing different points of your essay. And now in your conclusion, you need to piece them together. So that's why we say reword your thesis. It's because your thesis addressed all 3 of your points, and you haven't done that since that introduction paragraph. So now in your conclusion, you're tying together all 3 of your points, and now you can use specific details you talked about in your body paragraphs to kind of piece those together. So you're readdressing all of your arguments together in one nice way. So in a sentence or 2, tie together all of your ideas and then move forward. So for that second bullet point, if you look at the claims and conclusion sentences of your body paragraphs, those already kind of address your whole argument. So looking at your claims and conclusion sentences are going to be really helpful in kind of connecting those ideas for your conclusion. So look at those sentences, get in some nice wording, don't restate the exact same words, but those are the ideas you're trying to kind of piece together all in a sentence or 2. And I have examples of conclusions coming up as well. So you want to write a sentence or 2 tying together those ideas and make sure you're addressing the whole prompt. So look back at the prompt that you are discussing and make sure you've touched on each of those key points. Don't forget an element from the prompt. Tie those all together in the conclusion. Feel free to use words from the prompt that assures you're addressing the argument, and that starts your conclusion. But you're not done. You also need some kind of striking statement, some implications. So you've synthesized your points in your body paragraphs. You've tied them into the whole prompt. Remember your tense throughout, so you need to still be in third person, still need to be in present tense. Sometimes in your conclusions, you guys break tense and you will say, I feel like, or this shows readers that you should. You cannot use those words. You still need to be in third person. You're staying formal throughout. So that next part, after you use those couple of sentences of tying together your ideas, that's where you get into your implications. This is the hard part because you haven't talked about these next steps yet, but you want to think about what's the point of your whole essay. So you were already kind of thinking of the theme back when we did our Gatsby essay organizer. You were thinking about the theme behind your essay. What is the point of it all? That's kind of what you're doing here. What are the implications? Why should the audience care? What was the point of your whole essay? So your essay isn't just about the fact that Gatsby and Myrtle are similar if you chose that prompt. That's not what your whole essay, your readers aren't just going to say, okay, Gatsby and Myrtle are similar, cool. No, what's the point of that? Why did you write a whole essay on these two seemingly different characters that are similar? So you want to make that connection for your readers. What's that next step? Why should readers care? What is the bigger significance and meaning for them there? So take a greater takeaway, think about society. How can they apply these ideas? Based off everything you said, what does that mean readers should do? So what's the next step, or what's that kind of takeaway message? Still in third person. So Fitzgerald shows the importance of whatever you think, some kind of striking statement. So you kind of want to end your paragraph with like a mic drop. So think about your essay started most likely with some kind of hook, some kind of lead in, and now this is your outro. Think about in a play before the scenes close, before the curtains close, there's some kind of great moment, some kind of mic drop. That's what you're going for here. Some kind of message to leave your readers with where they go, huh, yeah, that's a great point. And then it makes them think and reflect. Okay, so think about some kind of mic drop. It's hard because you haven't talked about that throughout your essay. It's that last next step. What now? What next? Okay, so before I show you some examples, just to explain your homework, you are turning in your full rough draft. So this is not your final draft. I just need to make sure you guys are on par with where you should be at. I want to catch any flags before your final drafts are due, which will be the following week. So this is your full rough draft, 5 paragraphs due the 27th at noon. You're turning it in to turn it in through Schoology. So I have a screencast at the end of this that will explain that for you. So follow that YouTube link for clear instructions step by step on how to properly turn it in. There should be no late work coming in. You guys should be able to follow that and turn it in properly. So 5 paragraphs in proper formatting. You have your intro, you have your 3 body paragraphs, each with 2 pieces of data. You have your conclusion, you have your works cited, and you have proper formatting, okay? Tying together all your ideas, building your paragraphs, referencing your claim, your thesis, your prompt. Keep your argument clear and specific. Make sure you're proofreading, use those resources, and you've got this, okay? So that's your homework. I will reiterate that at the very end as well. Here are some conclusion examples. So I will show you 3 examples from Kindred. So here is an example tying together all the ideas throughout this essay. So, as seen throughout the novel, through perpetrators' actions and victims' reactions, acts of cruelty function as a way to keep the lesser in line and elevate the superior, causing a brutal cycle of power imbalances. Okay, that first sentence tied together all 3 of the ideas talked about in this essay. Could have been a little more specific, but I see the connection. So making that next step, through this cycle of a power struggle, Dana's morality shows how influences can make an impact on destroying the hierarchy and equating people. In Kindred, through all the darkness and cruelty, Dana still attempts to keep Rufus in the light. When there is darkness in the world, a light needs to rise to meet wrongdoings with righteousness. Great. Awesome. Okay, there was a typo there, but that's okay. And that last sentence there is that mic drop. Okay, so you see how all the ideas were tied together. There was a step towards making this more broad, and that last sentence can apply to all readers. It's not specific to Dana, to Rufus. It's some kind of message readers can take away and apply to their own life. Awesome. Love it. Okay, 2 more examples. Notice the formatting is double spaced. We have our page number header. Okay, make sure everything is in proper tense. And here is that next example. In the novel Kindred, Octavia Butler contrasts two time periods of 1816 and 1976 to point out the theme. Dana, who is an African American woman, time travels between these two time periods in order to save an ancestor who happens to be a slave owner, and she experiences the troubles of slavery through her own eyes. Butler conveys the differences of the 1970s social norms that are growing more accustomed of others but still have more to build, compared to the 1800s harsh social norms of hierarchy and cruelty based on appearance. The 1800s represents inequality, while the 1970s shows more acceptance inequality. Okay, all of those sentences before that very, very last one I haven't read yet reiterated everything that was addressed throughout this whole essay, as well as kind of touching on the implications of that. And this last sentence in yellow is going to be the mic drop, the takeaway for readers that they can apply to themselves. This contrast of these two places throughout the novel illuminates the need of putting differences aside to grow into a more united society. Awesome. I see how I can apply that to my life. Great takeaway, great next steps. Notice how none of these conclusion paragraphs are more than 5 sentences, so it's a really quick summary of the whole essay tied together in a couple sentences, but you're really being specific and addressing those key points you pulled out in your argument, and then those takeaways in about 2 sentences. So here's one more example from Kindred. By contributing to the plot and storyline with Dana's contrasting experience in the 1800s and 1970s, the past and present have meanings tied into slavery, with the former representing slavery's evil and the latter encompassing slavery's abolition. Awesome. Dana undergoes a life-changing experience that teaches her the importance of fighting for what is right and just, knowing that it is possible for society to improve based on her own experience, which affirms that. So those 2 sentences are very sophisticated. They specifically address the whole argument discussed in the essay, and they are using key prompt words. So then these next sentences are the takeaways, the message for readers. Actually, this is one last sentence. So here it is. It is so easy to read about the past in a passive way without taking into matter what people had to endure and suffer for the present rights that have been granted to all people. But it is very important to look at the past to know what to do right in the present and future, and to avoid previously done mistakes that have led to injustice and unrighteousness to be done to innocent people. Oh, lovely. What a mic drop. Terrific sentence, terrific takeaway. Could have been split maybe into 2 sentences, but I love the message. And again, that mic drop has nothing to do with the characters. They didn't reference the characters' names. It's that message. Kind of think theme. How can I apply all this that you talked about in your essay to my own life? Lovely. Okay, those are 3 examples. I'm now going to talk about some works cited details on the next slides. And that second bullet point is showing you exactly how to set up a works cited for a novel. I'm also giving you the works cited details for Fitzgerald's novel for Gatsby. So use that MLA format cheat sheet that I posted. It is in your Unit 3 folder, Unit 3.2 Gatsby, and it's a PDF called MLA Format Guide with sample intro. So that's also what I showed at the beginning of the slideshow with really good tips, and at the very end is the works cited for Gatsby. Okay, so use proper formatting all the way to your works cited. Here's an example from Kindred, beautifully formatted, only 1 citation needed. Still have that page number header, works cited, no underline, no italicized, no bold, perfect double spacing. And here is that cheat sheet that is on your MLA format guide. So I'm just going to go very quickly through here. So pause this at your need, but you have this resource for yourself already. And then just a couple more examples. Again, pause at your need. These are all posted for you. Remember to have a creative title. So I usually do my title at the very end once I know my takeaway, mic drop statement, so I can come up with something really profound as my title. So pause at your need, use these resources, a couple more works cited examples with your spacing, and remember I posted the links to 2 different screencasts. So one for Turnitin, so you know exactly how to turn in your assignment, and I have one for MLA formatting, so I can detail exactly how to format your own essay to get proper MLA setup. All of this is for your use and assistance so that you can turn in your homework this Friday, the 27th at noon. You can do this. I believe in you. Stay safe out there. Have a good one.